And posted. Okay, chapter 206's video is only a little late, but the translations usually take a couple of days to get done, so I should be good for a bit until 207's translations release. Ow! Wait, 207's translations are already out? Oh no. Oh no. I am so behind now. Earl! Get ready for some unpaid overtime!
No! God! No! God, please, no! No!
I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter, Chapter 207, the 3 in Class 1-3. As always, I won't be going over everything as I encourage you to check out the full chapter yourself, where the scanlation team puts them to support their hard work. The hard work they do at blinding speed sometimes, and also support the official release in your region to support the author, and checking out the anime as we are in the home stretch to the season finale. Earl, how much longer until the chapter is ready? Oh, perfect. That's just enough time then. This Saturday, March 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a bunch of us 100 Girlfriends content creators, including myself, Chaos Squared, and Backtrack Reacts, will be doing a live stream to talk about all things 100 Girlfriends, like how we got into the series and other topics. So come hang out with us in chat. Throw us your conspiracy theories and even topics that you would want us to cover in possible crossover content on our channels. We already have some ideas, but we're definitely open to more ideas, so stay tuned for that as well. Is the chapter ready now, Earl? Perfect. On to chapter 207. It's a bright and early morning as we see the multitude of girlfriends who arrive early to school, such as Momoha to pick the weeds, as well as our leads for this chapter, Iku and Yamame, who are here for their various clubs. After their morning greetings, they head off to their club rooms, only to be met with a pile of trash awaiting them at their doorstep. Later in class, as Hasuwa greets her new harem mates, her powerful nose catches the whiff of garbage on them, and asks if they've been cleaning up trash. And she also noticed that the two of them weren't with them with the walk to school with everyone else. It's nice to see that they kept this tradition alive still going all this time since we saw it all the way back in chapter 85. But you don't need a heightened sense of smell to see that these two are hiding something, and Hasuwa asks them if something has happened. To where Iku admits that there was trash left out in the front of her club room, and Yamame says that the same thing happened to her, and they begin to worry about the idea that there might be someone out there holding a grudge against them to do something like that, and they don't know who or why that would happen. Not accepting that anyone would hate her new friends of Iku and Yamame for no reason, Hasuwa assigns herself to the case to find out the truth behind these trash dumpings, and they head off to investigate the crime scenes, where Hasuwa is immediately hit with the stench of garbage, which, because of her heightened sense of smell, she begins to gag at it. But pushing through the pain, she thoroughly sniffs everything she could, which only leads to more gagging. After investigating both locations and melting into a giant puddle of goo, Hasuwa was able to determine that both piles of trash came from the same culprit. And after a quick sniff-me-up on the two of them, she notices that Yamame's necktie and Iku's skirt share a similar scent. After denying any kind of molto violento being done with the necktie, which Hasuwa doesn't believe for a second. I mean, just look at that face she's making. Hasuwa then clarifies that it's an animal scent, possibly a bird.
It was a game?
911.
Officer? Right there! Come on in, fellas!
Wait, don't look at me. Which makes Iko and Yamame recall a recent event from an unspecified time ago, because we can't dare have any kind of resemblance of time in this series now, can we? But they recall one morning some unknown time ago, where a bird accidentally swoops down so fast and hard it lands right into Iku's ass cheeks. And apparently the crow went in so deep and hard that it couldn't get itself free. Not only that, but the shock from the sudden pain was so much that she ended up passing out while standing up.
Did I miss a page?
And apparently, when Iku passes out, her butt cheeks just lock up, making it really hard for the crow to get itself out, including when Yamame uses all of her strength to pull the crow out. You know, it's times like these when I'm writing these scripts that I really wonder what I'm doing with my life. I could be writing Oscar-winning movie scripts, but instead I'm writing about crows getting lodged in girls' asses. Eventually, Yamame is able to pull the crow out and it flies away all pissed off about the encounter. On to the next morning though. Just gonna jot down that passage of time down for later. And it's back to the routine for Iku and Yamame in the morning, but the idea behind the trash dumping still haunts them. In comes Hasuwa, who is also at the school early, and as it turns out, the reason behind that is because she caught the very crow who had been loitering in front of their club rooms. And she knows it's the same crow as she caught it red-feathered putting more trash in front of the club rooms, thinking he must be upset about the whole butt cheek incident. But as it turns out, the crow is actually quite happy with the two of them. Turns out the crow had a crick in its neck, which was making it hard to fly, and the act of Yamame pulling it from Iku's rear helped with fixing that crick. But I have to call foul on this excuse. Being unable to fly straight doesn't make you fly Mach 5 performing aerial ace down towards the ground where people's asses are. From one bird to another, Mr. Crow, I got my eye on you and your ulterior motives. It then turns out that the trash dumping was the crow trying to show appreciation for helping it out by wanting to give them food that it found at the dump. But Yamame informs the crow that humans can't eat rotting food from the dump, to the crow's shock. Oh, and yeah, I guess I kind of glazed over the detail that Yamame can perfectly understand the crow, and the crow can understand Yamame just fine. Ugh, we're in too deep like a crow in Iku's ass at this point. It's too late to be asking these kind of questions. The crow takes off apologizing and I guess learning his lesson that humans don't eat that kind of food, and will stop dropping trash at their club rooms. Also, how did the crow know where to drop off the food? Forget it, like I said, we're in too deep now for sane questions. Also, before we move on, I'm not gonna let Iku's comment here slide. The drop in again sometime, harder if you like. I see you Zune scans and your double entendre. And Iku, seek help. Yamame and Iku praise Hasuwa for a job well done, and ask how did she know that it was that specific crow. I mean, just look 2 pages back. She said she saw it dropping off the rotting food, but she also figured out it must have been a crow doing it because she also sniffed the scent of a crow at both crime scenes. But it turns out this investigation really took a toll on Hasuwa as she collapses from exhaustion. Turns out she had been out all night staking out the school for the culprit because she figured that since crows are all black, that they must be nocturnal, which, fun bird fact, crows are in fact not nocturnal. When asked why she would go through all this trouble, we get a cute little flashback of the great detective Hasuwa's origins, where she admits that she has trouble studying and in general is bad at school. But one day her strong sense of smell helped solve a case that happened in her class, and everyone called her a great detective because of it. So she took on the mantle and made it her whole personality because that seems to be the one thing she's good at. And before we leave this flashback, what is going on in this classroom? Why is it a classroom full of human-animal hybrids? Like, we got this bear kid, Hasuwa who is a dog, and this cat girl over here. Was she part of some government program raising hybrid children? Does 100 Girlfriends take place in the same universe as My Hero Academia? Okay, just gonna write that theory down for later. Also, baby Hasuwa here is just Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Actually, most of these kids look like Animal Crossing characters. Okay, scratch off My Hero Academia. 100 Girlfriends and Animal Crossing exist in the same universe. That's a better clickbait thumbnail anyway. Now, out of the flashback, Hasuwa explains that she likes being called a great detective because it means people are calling her clever, and that's the only clever thing about her. And she wants to be useful to people, but she's only good at sniffing out deductions, so she does just that at every opportunity she can find so people can call her a great detective. And as it turns out, that's exactly what Iku and Yamame did 2 chapters ago when she was introduced to the family. They called her a great detective, which made her really happy. She then wallows on how she's only good for deductions and nothing else. But Iku and Yamame also say how they're only good at baseball and gardening respectively. Their grades are also in the toilet. So it turns out all 3 girlfriends from class 1-3 are a bunch of low-grade peas in a pod. And now we have a new fun friend group within the family.
Oh my God!
And now...
now...
Let's just take out the word fun, that should help.
Squidward. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all.
And we now have a new friend group within the family. It's super sweet to see. Oh, and we end things on Hasuwa having another sniff orgasm on the basis of friendship, I guess. Couldn't end it on a sweet note, huh, Nakamura? Gotta end it on that. And that'll do it for Hasuwa's first full outing as a new character in this series. And it's nice that she's already got a group of established characters to pal around with, much like how they paired Nemu with Rin in the last volume. I guess we can chalk this up to Nakamura's pattern as well. And I do like the tie-in from the previous chapter, making Hasuwa have an immediate attachment to someone in the group. But that's all fine and dandy, but more importantly, we got a Nano-focused chapter coming up next week. And damn, still no break week. Nozawa and Nakamura are working their butts off recently, and while I appreciate it, I need a break week too. But this train still isn't stopping, and I'll see you all next week for another chapter. I've been Moonlight150, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Especially subscribe because we are now officially in the countdown to 2,000. So thank you all for your support, and I'll see you all in the next video.